In 2023, the FIA required F1 engine manufacturers to present their current engines publicly and tell their stories. Ferrari presented their drivetrain during the Monza race, and there are lots of interesting facts to talk about. For the fans, it's great because we get insights we could never get before. And for F1, it's a good way to celebrate 10 years of hybrid drivetrains, or the 10th season. Getting an insight into Ferrari's tech secrets is especially interesting, as they are usually very protective about their products and there are not many pictures showing the Ferrari drivetrain. At the same time, GPS data shows that Ferrari is currently the strongest F1 engine. So let's take a closer look at this impressive piece of engineering. First of all, F1 introduced an engine freeze in March 2022. How do you approach such a deadline? The engine freeze meant that updates to increase performance were not allowed afterwards, but updates to improve reliability were still possible. Ferrari, Mercedes and Honda went all in, put all technology into their drivetrains to have as much performance as possible and paid the price with bad reliability. But reliability could be improved, and today they have strong engines under engine freeze regulations. Renault Alpine, on the other hand, prioritized reliability from the very beginning, and is now lacking around 30 horsepower. Ferrari presented their journey from a 2013 engine with an efficiency of less than 30%. With the change to hybrid drivetrains in 2014, they could increase efficiency to a bit more than 40%. And today their drivetrain delivers 51% of efficiency. If we compare 2013 with 2023, they have 40% less fuel consumption, 20% less weight for ERS components, 25% less volume of the ERS system, and the MGU-K has double the power density. Ferrari also presented their engine strategies, and to showcase them, they showed a map of the Monza circuit. To understand this better, we first have to talk about the basic layout of an F1 hybrid drivetrain. In the technical regulations, you find this diagram. It shows you the different components of an F1 drivetrain. There is the battery, the MGU-K, which is the electric motor connected to the engine's crankshaft, the MGU-H, which is connected to the turbocharger shaft, the turbocharger, and the engine itself. And you can see the arrows between them with the limitations. So for the last 10 years, the job of the engine departments was to find the most efficient way to run a car during a lap. Now, the colors on the map show you the different phases of the drivetrain during one lap. The red zones are the beginning of the straight. The MGU-H takes energy from the battery and spools up the turbo to have maximum boost as quickly as possible. This path is unlimited. At the same time, the turbo's wastegate is open, so exhaust gas bypasses the turbine for less resistance in the exhaust system and faster revving up. Parallel to that, the battery delivers the maximum allowed power to the MGU-K. So this is the high power mode. As soon as the car is on the straight, it changes to the orange mode. Orange mode means maximum boost pressure is now reached. In contrast to road cars, the wastegate now closes, and the MGU-H is braking the turbo shaft to limit boost pressure. If an electric motor is braking, it's producing electricity. And if we look at the diagram, we can see that the path from MGU-H to MGU-K is unlimited. So Ferrari delivers the power to limit the engine's boost pressure to the MGU-K and supports the crankshaft with more power. Because the battery now only drives the MGU-K and not MGU-K and MGU-H, like in the red mode, the battery is less stressed and produces less heat. At the end of the straight, we change to the green mode, which is doing braking. Now the MGU-K helps to slow down the car and the produced energy is used to charge the battery. The fourth mode is the gray mode. It is used if the driver is not using full throttle, for example in the chicanes. Here, engine and MGU-H charge the battery. The requirements for F1 engines changed quite a lot in recent years. In 2014, there were only 19 races and teams could use 5 engines. In 2023, we have 22 races and teams are only allowed to use 4 engines. Nice is that Ferrari even presents the turbocharger separately, which is usually buried within the engine's V. So let's take a closer look at what we can see here. Let's start with the airbox on top, which splits into two to guide air through two air filters. We will talk about why Ferrari did this split in a minute. The openings at the back are for auxiliary cooling, such as oil radiators on top of the gearbox. After the air filters, the pipes merge into one tube and it enters the turbocharger from above. We can see that Ferrari positioned the MGU-H in front of the turbocharger, which means that air has to flow around the turbo shaft. Interesting here is the single compressor outlet goes straight up. We have to remember that this is pretty much in the middle of the engine's V, and this compressed air has to somehow get out of there to an intercooler. It seems like this is the reason for Ferrari's split intake concept, to have space in the middle for a single pipe. Now comes the part we cannot see at this engine, the intercooler. The compressed air is guided to an intercooler. Ferrari used water-to-air intercoolers in the past, other teams used air-to-air intercoolers. After the intercooler, the air enters the engine again through the two pipes, one either side. They go to the horizontal plenum, which is a result of the extensive development. Previous plenums have been vertical, but that required too much space and disturbed bodywork design. Instead, teams opted for a horizontal plenum with 3 pipes going to each cylinder of one bank. The exhaust primaries wrap around the engine as tightly as possible, and it also looks like equal length is not the highest priority. It seems like tight packaging is more important. All 3 pipes combine just before the turbine housing, which has one inlet either side. This part of the turbo sits behind the engine block and inside the bell housing, so the center exhaust pipe also starts from here. Furthermore, we can see the 6 connection points with the chassis and 4 with the gearbox. Also nice to see the machined load paths on top of the cylinder heads, because engine and gearbox are fully stressed members. That means they hold the whole rear of the car. We can see the battery, which sits underneath the fuel tank. The 3 orange cables on the car's left-hand side go to the MGU-K, and the 3 cables on the other side go to the MGU-H. So, all in all, we can say that it's great for the fans, but also for the manufacturers, to show the current F1 engines, to celebrate 10 years of hybrid engines. The efficiency gains have been impressive, and current F1 engines are a real technical masterpiece. So what do you think about Ferrari's current F1 engine? Let me know in the comments below, and see you at the next video.